Then it's education planning without financial aids. Okay, so we have tax programs. So the tax for this part is not in your textbook. Okay, it's free. Good news, it's free. But it's changing every year. That's this one. It's the tax benefits for education by IRS, publication 970. You can find it online. Let me write down publication. And also I've posted online, but as I told you, it's going to change every year. Okay, publication 970 IRS, because it's tax. Okay, so that's the textbook you will have. Okay, publication 970. And there are a lot of details, and it's very easy to understand. If you want more details, that's the resource. So I will just briefly go over that. Okay, so tax programs for education. So I list them all. Okay, so basically I think there are four types. Okay, the first type is called credit. There are different types of credit. The second type is deduction. Anyone doesn't know what's the difference between tax credit and tax deduction?
Credit is just against your tax, and deduction is against your taxable income, right?
Let me explain, in case some international students don't have the experience. Let me explain that very quickly. So you pay tax, so you have the income, taxable income, right? And then you can get some deduction. That's the deduction. And then it's what do you need to pay for the tax? Okay, taxable, that's the base, taxable income. And you times the tax rate, and then you get the tax amount you're going to pay. And then you get the credit. And then that's the final amount you're going to pay. So this is deduction. This is credit. So credit, $1 is just $1. You got $1, you save $1. Okay? Deduction, you need to time that by the tax rate, so it's not $1 for $1. Okay? So that's the difference. So first type is credit. Second type is deduction. Third type is saving accounts. So we have a Coverdell education saving accounts, 529 plans. Okay? And the others I call other. Okay? So it could be employer provided education assistance, IRA, education saving bonds, UGMA. I will explain later. Okay? So later I will give you a case. So when we go through this, I know tax is always a hectic. Okay? So I won't ask you, even in exams, I won't ask you details, say what's income for this to be qualified. I won't ask that number, okay? But you need to know, if I want to get this credit, there is some requirement for the income. If your income is too high, I cannot get it. You need to have this idea, because later we need to know for different conditions which one do we want to use. So you need to know the restrictions. But I ask for details, say, the restriction is this income married, what's the amount? I won't ask you for the amount, okay? But you need to know there are some restrictions so you can compare. Because that restriction number can change every year, so there's no point for you to memorize everything this year, okay? You just need to know where you can find it. Okay, so first is credit. So I got it from the publication 970, okay? So I will show you the example, and the other one I will ask a student to explain, okay? So I looked through this, and one thing I find is the limitation, okay? So first, you can get only 2,500 credit per student. There's some limit. That's credit, okay? You cannot get more. And there is some income restriction. If your income is too high, you cannot get it. okay? And it can be refundable. 40% of the credit may be refundable. What is refundable? Yeah.
You can zero taxes down to zero. If you still have credits left over, they will send you a check for that amount.
Yeah. For example, if your tax is $1,000 and your credit is $400, then the balance is $600, then you're fine. If you only have the tax is zero at first, and if with the credit to be $400, that means they need to pay you $400. That's refund, okay? So they will refund 40%, okay? And the rest is not refundable, okay? The third restriction, only for students who have not, available only if the student had not completed the first 4 years of post-secondary education before 2014. Mm-hmm. Okay, and only available for 4 tax years per student restriction. Okay, and that's the details I won't ask. Okay, that's the details. Yeah, I will focus on this. That's restrictions because I want to know difference. Okay, then let's move on the second type of the credit. Lifetime learning credit. This is 2 points, but I want, if you are ready, raise your hand. Tell me the key points. I mean, the restrictions and compare with the American Opportunity Credit. What's the advantage? What's the disadvantage? So 3 questions. Explain that a little bit. What's the restrictions? Advantage, disadvantage. Compare with American Opportunity Credit. Okay? Raise your hand when you're ready. Oh, that's fast.
So the lifetime learning credit, if you don't need to be in your first 4 years of college, it can be applied to basically anyone that is getting further education for the betterment of their professional skills. The amount is lower than the American Opportunity Credit, and also the limit on modified AGI is also lower. And if I'm not, that one's non-refundable. So the American Opportunity Credit, like when you compare the two, is more advantageous, but it also has more limitations. The Lifetime Learning Credit has less limitations.
Good. 2 points. Okay. So any other comments? So yeah. So that's the 2 types of credit that's available this year. Okay. So you know the difference when to apply for which one. Okay. And then deduction. Okay, we have student loan interest deduction. So you can reduce your income. So that's here, deduction. Okay, so you can reduce your income subject to tax by up to $2,500 a year. Okay, and let me see. Student qualification. It must be you, your spouse, or your dependent. Enroll at least half-time in a degree program, okay? And there is limitation on income. High-income people don't qualify, okay? And this is a tuition and a fee deduction. You can reduce your income subject to tax by $4,000 for the tuition and fees paid, okay? There is limitation on the income. High-income people don't qualify. So you can see that's what I said. It's kind of paradox. If you can afford to pay the tuition, very likely you cannot get this benefit because they have a limitation on the income. Yes.
So for the exam, you need to know like general idea what the teacher can listen.
General idea. I won't ask you what's the maximum benefit. I won't ask you what's the number what's the amount of salary income if married and they want to file for tuition and fees deduction. Yeah, you just need to know the difference because I know in real life you always can check these numbers, right? But you need to know there exist 2 kinds of tuition deduction, 2 kinds of deductions, and high income people cannot apply for that. That's all you need to know. Okay. Okay. Then it's the 3rd type, saving. Okay, cover down education saving accounts. Okay, so what's covered out education saving account? It's a saving account that's set up to pay the qualified education expenses of designated beneficiary. Okay, so this is one restriction. Keep this in mind because later I will combine everything. Now it's easy. Okay, when I put everything together, anyone who is under age 18 or a special needs, so that he can go above 18. Okay, anyone, so you need to set up this young. You can not go to college and start to save for that. Okay, anyone who is under age 18. Okay, so and who can contribute? There is some limitation on the gross income. If your income is too high, no, you cannot contribute. Okay, so what's the benefit? The benefit is the distribution are not more than the the benefit is did they put it here? No, but I will explain. So the benefit is let me see. The benefit is you contribute. There is no contribution deduction, but when it's going to grow tax free. And when you withdraw the money to pay the qualified education expenses, if the distribution are not more than the beneficiary's adjusted qualified education expenses for that year, then the distribution is tax free. It's going to grow tax free, but you need to pay the tax at the beginning, okay? And it's going to grow tax free, and then when you withdraw that, if it's not more than the qualified education expenses, you do not need to pay the tax when you withdraw the money. They call it distribution. When you use it to pay for tuition, etc., you do not need to pay the tax. Okay? The other limitation is so annual contribution limit is $2,000 for each beneficiary, no matter how many. So your parents can contribute, your grandparents can contribute. No matter how many people contribute, overall for this one beneficiary student, $2,000 each year in account. There's some limit. So there are a lot of limitations here. Okay. So first, the age of the beneficiary. Second, the income. Okay. Third, the contribution limit. That's covered out. Okay? Questions? No, then we go to the more complicated ones. Okay, 529 plans. That's a very popular one. Okay? 529 plans. There are two types of 529 plans. One is called prepaid tuition plans. So second is called college saving plans. Okay, so anyone has the experience. Anyone knows the difference between prepaid plans and college saving plans? Anyone using the 529 plans now? No? Okay, so prepaid plans.
The 529 plan when if you save it into an account, you can deduct it from your income?
No. Deduction, it depends on the state. Okay, so it's more like covered out. It's going to grow tax free, and when you make the distribution to pay the qualified expenses, it's tax free. But it's better. Let me explain how it's better. Okay, the biggest benefit of the prepaid tuition plans is they can lock the tuition today. We do not know how fast it's going to grow. We lock the tuition today. So basically, but there is some disadvantage. Disadvantage is you are locked in the state or in the school. Basically, for example, I don't think California has that. Florida, for example, Florida. You buy the prepaid tuition plans in Florida. Then you have to go to the schools listed in the Florida, listed in that contract. Go to that state college. It's hard to decide, right? Sometimes, usually my friends buy that when their children were only 1 or 2 years old. You even don't know whether they will go to college. So how could you make sure they will go to the specific school, they will go to the school in the specific state? There's some risk, okay? So the benefit is if they do go to the school, you lock the price today. You buy kind of a certificate, buy the credits today. okay? And but the disadvantage is you have to go to the school. What if, I mean, when they grow up, they decide to move far away from you, they want to go to another state or whatever, so what will happen? There's some flexibility. It depends on different plans. In general, they allow you to go to the other state and maybe pay the penalty, you get the money out. You pay the penalty.
So there's also for private college?
That's a good question. So before that, it started at the state level as public college, okay? But now there are a lot of trouble. Later I will show you the numbers, especially college saving plans. There are fewer and fewer prepaid tuition plans, okay? And college saving plans, the states, they're all the money, so they try to cancel it, okay? But now we have the new kinds of the saving plan, and some group have the prepaid tuition plan for private schools. They have the new group.
The credits, I mean the prepaid credits.
Oh, yeah, this is the link. Actually, I put it here, sorry. It's called the Private College 529 Plan. I have the link there.
Are they transferable, the credits? For example, if your son doesn't want to go there, can you sell it to somebody else for?
I think you need to go to that specific school. And if you don't go, then you pay the penalty of something. Yeah, you can withdraw, but you pay the penalty, yeah.
So you can't transfer it
I don't think so.
for a specific.
Okay, and yeah, that's prepaid plans, okay? And college saving plans, you have more flexibility. So it's just accounts. It's like 401k account, okay? You save for the purpose of education. So it's going to grow tax-free when the money is in the plan. And when you withdraw the money, it's tax-free. And some states, depending on states, give state tax deduction on deposits or deduction on withdrawals. It depends on the states, okay? But you can go to any school. You can use it for any qualified education expenses, okay? And the benefits, the advantage of 529 plans compared with Coverdell is, first, there is no income restriction on donors or contributors. Anyone can contribute. But pay attention, the second one is there is no limit of the contribution limit. There's no limit of the contribution amount. But pay attention, because anything contributed to 529 plans will be considered as gift. So what's that? If the parents give the gift to the children, if it's a large amount, they need to pay gift tax. So there are some limits there. But usually it won't, because you know you have the lifetime sector. So usually it won't be a big problem, okay? Just be careful, because still there is some gift tax issue there, okay? But there's no, for the 529 plan itself, there is no contribution limit every year, okay? And can make so when you decide not to use it for the education purpose, so that's called non-qualified withdrawals. So it's when you want to withdraw, it's like 401k plan. When you withdraw the money, it's designed for you to use that for this case for education. But when you withdraw that not for education purpose, then you need to pay the 10% penalty and you pay the tax, etc. It's very similar to 401k plans. Okay, you get tax benefit if you use that for education purpose. Okay, and good thing is asset control. Okay? So who do you think should be the account owners? Right? So that's about asset control. Okay, that's about asset control. For asset control, maybe the parents. But how about now let's combine everything together, mix everything together. If I want to consider financial aid, okay? If I want to consider financial aid, what do you suggest? My question is under whose name? Children's name, parents' name, or grandparents' name? Even grandparents. That's why I say education planning is complicated. We can have a multi-generation involvement. Okay, so anyone give me a reasonable point, just give me 1 point. Okay, so My question, let me repeat the question. For 529 plans, if we also want to maximize the likelihood to get the financial aid, but also we want to get tax benefits. That's why we use 529 plans. Which would you suggest? We put it under the children's name, put it under the parents' name, or grandparents' name?
Grandparents, because they're not factored in the expected family contribution.
So yes, so when we apply for the financial aid, we only need to report the parents and the children's income, but not the grandparents, right? That's a good point, but that's not a complete story. I will summarize 1 point, okay? Actually, that's not the best solution, okay? But the starting point is good. The starting point is he answered half of that right, okay? What else? What else? Let me first tell you why grandparents is not a good idea, okay? If you put in a grandparent's name, it's okay when you apply for that unaccounted assets. Not the parents' assets, the children's assets. They won't ask for grandparents' assets. But when you withdraw the money from 529 plans, you need to use the money, right? So they know where it comes from, because you need to tell them, oh, I'm going to pay for this school's education. So they know it comes from the 529 plans. So if they know this is not from your account, or it's not from your parents' account, it's from your grandparents' account, and then it will be counted as the student's income. Okay? I think I heard, oh. Sorry?
Penalized for saving for college. You get less financial aid.
Yeah, kind of. But you can, that's why I say it's not the best solution. We can find a better solution. If 529 prepaid tuition plans or the saving plans or covered or anything owned by third parties such as grandparents are not included as assets on the FAFSA, so that's the Federal Financial Aid Form, okay? But distributions from such a plan are reported as the untaxed income to the beneficiary on the financial aid application. Let me see the rate, okay? Children's assets are assessed, so the children's assets are assessed at 20%. So if you have $1,000, they assume $20 will go to the education, to pay for your education, okay? Parents' assets is the top rate is 5.64, okay? And they didn't talk about the income. Sorry, let me give a second. Yeah, they didn't. I think it's about this amount. The tax, maybe even higher. So if it's from the grandparents, first it won't consider as assets from parents or the children, but it will consider as the income of the children. So it will be taxed. Sorry, not taxed. It will be decrease. It will decrease your eligibility. Okay. So now it leaves with parents versus children. Which one is better? So first, there's some change in the rule, okay? So before, parents is better than children, because we know parents, the assets at a low rate than the children's assets. But from beginning from 2009, even the money is in the children's name. They say that's okay. We will use the same as in the parents' name, and we use this rate, use parents' rate. Even the 529 plans is from the children's name. They won't use this rate. They will use the parents' rate. And when you withdraw the money again, because they already considered as assets, so when you withdraw the money to pay for your tuition, it won't be considered as the children's income. Is that clear? So you can see it's changing every year, and it's very complicated. So how to get the parents involved? Actually, grandparents, let me finish it, it's not the end. So in general, that's Is that clear what I described to you, the order, okay? But there is one case actually, grandparents could help. How to, I say grandparents, when you apply for financial aid, doesn't count in the assets. When you withdraw the money, it will consider as the children's income. How could you limit the negative impact from the grandparents withdrawal, the withdrawal from grandparents' accounts? How are you going to limit that negative effect? Give you a hint. The hint is when to withdraw. Assume that you don't need, the money is not enough to cover all the 4 years. For example, the money is only enough to cover 1 year expenses. When are you going to withdraw if it's in a grandparent's account? Question, answer one, split that over 4 years. What else? If the money is from grandparents' account. Any other answer?
Well, going to that one, if every time you withdraw it, you have to pay the tax on it, right?
Yeah, not pay the tax. They will calculate that, figure that as your income. Yeah. Right. 1 point. Yeah. So you don't use that for the first 3 years, so they don't know. It's like you never have this money. And then you hold it until the last year, and then probably you already got the financial aid in the first 3 years, and you use the money. I don't care if I got it because I need to use this money for the last year. So there are two strategies. One strategy is, for example, I only have the money to cover 1 year expenses, okay? One strategy is to withdraw that every year. The second strategy is I only withdraw the large amount in the last year to cover the last year expense. I will use the second strategy because if you use the second strategy, it will not affect your eligibility for financial aid in the first 3 years. So you get the money in the first 3 years and use the money for the last year from the 529 plans. So sometimes, so there's no definite answer. It depends on the situation, how much money is in this account. So if only you only have 1 year coverage, maybe grandparents is a better solution. Because if it's in the children or parents' name, then you have to report it. That's the asset. That's not income, okay? So grandparents will be a better solution. Any questions? But you need to know what's 529 plans, what's the benefit, what's prepaid tuition plans, what's college saving plans. That's all, okay?
So if you have a question about the different, if you have a 529, when the student fills out the application for financial aid and has to include the parents' income on it, is that a 529 plan there as well? Or you can omit that altogether? Because my question would be like, could the financial aid office question, why aren't you using the money from the country?
No, you can use it anytime.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your choice.
Discretion.
Yeah, even, I just don't want to use my parents' money. I decide, but it still counts. But I just don't want to use that. I don't need to withdraw that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let me show you some. So far, I think that's the very good solution, right? 529 plans. Doesn't have a lot of restrictions and it has the tax benefit. But let me show you some other numbers. Okay, so this is in 2011, but it's worse, okay? In 2011, a lot of states decide they're going to close their prepaid plans, the annual prepaid tuition plans. So in 2011, only 11 states have plans that are still open to new investments. So because it's expensive, because the tuition is growing and growing, and you try to lock that, so the government needs to subsidize. So they don't want to do it, okay? And this article I also posted online. Tuition jumped on average of 13%. This is not inflation adjusted. So the tuition, they explain why they're canceling that. So because the tuition is increasing too fast and government cannot cover the cost. So when I know in California there's no such prepaid plans. But even if you live in California, you can buy the prepaid plans in other states. That's okay. When you buy, if luckily that states have the prepaid plans, what points should you pay attention to? What question do you need to ask when you buy the prepaid plans now? I give you the facts. States are trying to cancel the prepaid plans. They're in trouble. They don't have enough funding. So if luckily you have the prepaid plans in the states and you want to buy, what kind of question you want to ask? If the answer is yes, nobody can tell you. They can say they have the right. If they don't have the money, they can cancel it. Yeah, they could. So what's the next question? What's the next question? If you cancel, what will happen to me?
Oh, will I get my money back?
Yeah, how much am I going to get back? Right? So usually it's fine print, or even there. You need to be clear. It's different. It's not standard. Some states, they're generous. They say, I give you the money back plus some guaranteed return. Some states that I will give you the money back based on the tuition at that time. Because you buy 4 credits, I pay you the 4 credits money. Okay? Some states say, I just give you the principal back. You need to check, is that okay for you? Because there is a high risk of such cancellation. So that's the disadvantage of prepaid plans today. Although it's good, because you can lock the price, but there's risk, okay? Even for the college savings plans, you read the news, sometimes the Congress, the government, it's too much money for them, and this is one news I got. You will see it frequently, okay? So this is news. 529 is at risk, and they discuss, I pay too much money for the 529 subsidization, and we cannot cover too much, so we want to cancel it. Sometimes they will get this. So maybe even for the saving plans, they were considering reducing the tax benefit for that. Okay, so because education planning is similar to retirement planning, it's a long term. It's a long term over 10 years. Nobody can guarantee what will happen in 10 years, even for the government. So you need to consider this risk as well. There's some risk. Okay. Okay, I think we have a 10 minutes break and we continue. Okay.